Hey, it's Aaron. Today I'm with the Mercedes-Benz A-Class. This is the 2021 model, and in particular this is the AMG A35. There are two versions of this car. There is the A220, which is a Mercedes-Benz vehicle, and it has the 2-liter turbo engine and looks almost exactly the same, but it is the lower end of this. It is the one package. The second package is this A35, which is an AMG product, so it's Mercedes AMG. Same 2-liter turbo, but turbocharged to be much higher horsepower. So I'll go through a few of the differences between the two, because this is kind of Mercedes entry level. And for a lot of buyers, there is a huge difference between the A220 and this A35. Not the least of which is somewhere around, I want to say, $15,000 in price difference. So let's just get started. Okay, so right off the bat, first big difference between the two vehicles is the A220 has this 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder engine running at about 188 horsepower. This one is the AMG model, takes that same engine, bumps it to 305. Big difference there. Now, in performance, that means that this has much better performance than the A220, but this has a lot of turbo lag. The first 5 miles an hour are generally pretty slow unless you're romping the gas, and then you're jumpy. So, to me, not really well done there. I think the transmission could be tuned a little bit so that you would have a little more power at that lower end. But other than that, the AMG has a lot of other differences. Most of those show up on details on the bodywork. These wheels, for example, these are 18-inch AMG wheels. They are specific to the AMG model. Also, the interior has the sport seating, which is a package upgrade in the AMG. You will not find that in the A220. Also, you won't find the little AMG badges, brakes, and so on. And the AMG model, the A35, is all-wheel drive only. There is no front-wheel drive option. The A220 defaults to front wheel. So those are the major differences. The rest of the differences are just basically what's included in the package. Those are details. You can look those up if you need to know them. I'm not going to go over every single one of them. But let's look at this car, because it is beautiful. So from the side profile you're seeing here, it's a really pretty getup. I really like this design. It's a pretty basic saloon style. So you can see not quite a fastback in the back. You can see the longer hood, shorter rear end, and the standard sedan 4-door. Couple of differences that you might notice right away besides those wheels. Those are AMG specific 18-inchers. Those same size of wheel as on the A220, but they're not these AMG models. They're not quite as dressy. They're less sporty, basically is the way to say it. Also, the brakes underneath them, those are AMG brakes. They come with sport suspension that's built into this as part of the AMG model. So you can see it's a very classic profile. Let me walk in so you can get an idea of the kind of the size here. So you can see, here's some perspective. Beautiful lines. I love these basic lines that most of the Germans are using now. You're seeing this on a lot of the German cars. Just classic, simple, basic lines to make a very classy looking vehicle. So you can see there's a run up here, and that creates kind of the prow line, is what I like to call it. And then it bows out to here. There's another line that starts right about here and runs along the belt line there. That creates the front fender. So you can see how that looks. It's really pretty. You have your turbo 4MATIC badge here, and then you can see this goes along there. It really subtly widens as it goes back, very subtly. It's not much of a difference. Right here, it's about 3 finger widths. If you get down to this end, it's roughly 4, counting a pinky. So it's a really kind of a subtle change. And then you can see the roofline is just a classic coupe. So they just took a classic coupe, made it into a sedan, right? That's the general saloon style. And then soft curve right here, and then a light catcher right there. You can see that bulge right here runs along like that, and then the running board down there. So it's a really good look catches light and moves it around really, really well. You can probably see that yellow parking line and then how it suddenly changes. Because of this curve, it should be curving inward a little bit. So really cool looking. Back here, it comes along and then this part of the belt line dies, so you just have this line that goes and then fades right as it gets to that tail light. And mark of a luxury car used to be, not so much anymore, now you see it in a lot of vehicles, to have that line run through the filler. That's the filler cover. That's an unusual thing. Used to be that meant they spent a lot of extra time and money on the car. At least it gave that impression. I don't think it actually meant time and extra money, but it does mean that the fitment is a little more difficult. But you can see, comes back, and then this pillar gets wider right here, right? Because it curves quickly and gets wide, and that helps accentuate this rear so that it feels rear-wheel driven, even though it's not. By default, it's front-wheel drive. But like I said, in the A35, it's all-wheel drive by default. And then back here, this fin, this is an AMG add-on. This fin goes with this, I don't know what to call it because it's European. I want to say deck, because here in the US this is the trunk and that's a deck. But in Europe, this is the boot. So I don't know. Anyway, but really nice lines, really, really classic. Now you can get, there are attachments so you can get roof racks on this. So if you're a winter driver, maybe do some skiing once in a while, stuff like that, you can put roof racks on here, take them on and off. And this also has the large glass sunroof. So the glass goes to right here and it opens up like a glass sunroof. Let's go around and let's look at the back a little bit for some style. We'll look at the very front for some more style, and then I'll talk about the interior. So a quick look at the rear of the car. You can see that it is, it comes down and just abruptly cuts. That's, again, classic saloon. Really, really pretty. I like the way that they did the lines back here so that the lights are coming across. Everything is a little more rounded, so it looks more, I don't know, aero. You have two tailpipes because it's the AMG model, but they're on a split. They're not individual runs all the way from the front. So it comes back as one pipe and then splits to make two, and that's for looks because you can see the lower diffuser and everything down there. Really, really pretty setup. Let's go look at the grille. So one thing I will say hand over fist that Mercedes has over BMW and Lexus is their grille work. Mercedes decided to stay more classic, so they haven't gone to those huge, giant, open front ends like the beaver teeth that are on the BMWs and the big, huge, kind of almost hourglass that's on the Lexus. This is more of just a classic stripe across grille. Where Mercedes has changed is this. The emblem's gotten bigger as the hood ornament got smaller. So as the hood ornament started to go away, the emblem on the front got bigger because you're driving a Mercedes, tell people about it, I guess. But you can see with the AMG treatment, there's also the lower dam has changed a little bit. So you can see it looks a little more sporty. Mostly, I think all that was added is this chrome right here. But I'm not 100% sure because I haven't seen an A220 for a couple of years. And so anyway, and then you maybe can see the lines to see where that boat prow comes from across there. Really classic. So inside the car, really nicely done, mostly very classic. They had these round vents all the way across, so there's three here and one over there and one here. These are nice because they're really controllable. You can spin them this way, put them up and down like that, and you can totally shut them. Really easy to use and understand. And they're all the way across. So I like that. Lighting is over here. Parking brake is here. That's kind of odd, but not totally. And shifting, as with all Mercedes, is on this stick right here. So it looks like a dongle, but it's actually your shifter. Lights are over here, and windshield washers on the end. So pretty simple layout. They don't need a whole lot of buttons in here because there just aren't a whole lot of things to button. Push for. You know what I'm saying. Anyway, by default, the A35 comes with the larger infotainment screen, has a slightly larger driver information screen, and 10.25 inch, did I say that? That's for the infotainment. I believe the driver screen is that same size. I'd have to look it up, but I'm pretty sure that's right. And just a nice, simple, classy layout. I love the brushed aluminum they did in this one. I like the white on black because it gives it more bright to the interior. It's not just plain black. I really get tired of plain black interiors because they're so common. So I like the offset there. Just a nice layout. The back seat is a little bit cramped. I'm not going to show it to you because it's just not worth the trouble. It's a little bit cramped. If you're buying this expecting to have a lot of backseat passengers, you really should move up a notch and get a slightly larger car. The thing with the A-Class is that it is Mercedes entry level. This is where you get into the brand. This is how they expect you to start. You're maybe a younger person, just finished college, you got an executive sort of, middle management or upper middle management position or something. You're maybe moving up in the world. You need a nice car, but you can't afford, $80,000, so you get into this. Now let's talk about prices. So price-wise, you get into the A220 at about $40,000. Be about $39,000 to $40,000 for that car, and you're getting a nice, well considered and well appointed vehicle for that. That is your kind of entry level to get into this model and feel, and have the look of a Mercedes and the feel of a Mercedes for the most part. To get into the AMG model, you have to really want that sportiness. You must really want that turbo and those larger brakes and that suspension, because you're going to spend 15 or 16 or whatever the number comes out, because you're going to spend about $53,000 to start to get into this. That doesn't include the upgrades like the Burmester stereo and other stuff, which I would highly recommend that stereo. These seats are also an option. They're an upgrade. There's a few other things. And it's, the technology package and stuff is probably well worth having. But you have basic things built into the car, even in the A220 model, that include things like blind spot management, forward brake mitigation, for crash avoidance. I believe that you have cruise control, but you don't have, even in this model, I do not have adaptive cruise. So a few things like that you don't include, but for the most part, this is a good entry to serious luxury. So it's not chimpy luxury. You can get cheaper cars of the same size with a luxury brand on them, but they're not necessarily real luxury. They don't feel luxurious. My only real downer with this car, besides that price jump to go to the sport model, which I would much prefer if I were driving it, the real downer is it is kind of loud on the highway. So it's not as quiet as you expect a luxury car. But in order to price it, there had to be some corners cut. That's why I think they didn't spend as much time tuning to accommodate that turbo, the higher output up there, to try to fix that 0 to 5 point that has trouble with, and why it doesn't have the sound deadening on the freeway and stuff. It's because they had to make a price point. So I can't really fault it too much, because at $40,000, this is a great car. Even at $53,000, this is still a really great car. So, I don't know. So there you go. That's what I got. This has been Aaron, and this is the 2021 Mercedes A-Class. Beautiful setup, really good entry level for this luxury brand, and just a fun car to drive. It just feels fun. It's not overpowering at any point. It's a little skittish in the very beginning. It doesn't want to go very fast to off the line, but once you get it going, that turbo really does its job. This is a nice entry point for somebody looking to get into the Mercedes brand, and you don't want to spend that $60,000 and $80,000 that you'll spend to get into the serious models like the S-Class. So there you go. That's what I got. This has been Aaron. Talk to you again soon.